A shocking proposal, an escalating war, and global tensions at their peak. As Ukraine enters its fourth year of war, President Volodymyr Zelensky makes an unprecedented offer. He is willing to step down from his position in exchange for Ukraine's membership in NATO. This dramatic statement comes as U.S. support wavers, Russia intensifies its attacks, and global powers scramble to find a resolution. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's criticism of Zelensky sparks further controversy, while Russia launches its most massive drone strike yet. What does this all mean for Ukraine, NATO, and the future of global security? Stay with us to find out how this story unfolds. And don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates. Zelensky's bold statement, "Power for security." In a move that took the world by surprise, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky declared that he is willing to resign if it means securing NATO membership for Ukraine. Speaking at a press conference ahead of the third anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion, Zelensky stated, "If to achieve peace you really need me to give up my post, I'm ready. I can trade it for NATO membership if there are such conditions." His comments were made amid increasing pressure from Western allies and uncertainty over U.S. support, particularly with Donald Trump's recent remarks calling Zelensky a dictator without elections. Zelensky quickly brushed off the insult, responding, "I wasn't offended, but a dictator would be." He further emphasized that his primary focus remains Ukraine's security, not long-term political power. Under Ukrainian law, national elections are suspended during martial law, which has been in effect since Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022. Zelensky's remarks come as he prepares to meet with Western leaders, some in person in Kyiv, others via video call, to discuss Ukraine's future security guarantees, especially as the U.S. reevaluates its military and financial commitments. As Ukraine fights for its survival, diplomatic tensions between the U.S., Russia, and European nations are at an all-time high. While Washington has provided billions in military aid, recent reports suggest that the U.S. government is seeking access to Ukraine's valuable natural resources in return. Zelensky firmly rejected the idea of a long-term security agreement that would leave Ukraine indebted for generations. "We are making progress," Zelensky admitted when asked about ongoing negotiations, but he made it clear. "We are ready to share, but first, Washington must ensure that Russian President Vladimir Putin ends this war." Trump's stance on Ukraine remains a growing concern for European leaders. His recent comments questioning NATO's commitment to defending its allies have raised fears that U.S. support may not be guaranteed in the future. While Zelensky expressed a desire for the U.S. to act as more than just a mediator between Kyiv and Moscow, he acknowledged the increasing uncertainty surrounding America's role in the war. Russia strikes back, the largest drone attack yet. As political negotiations unfold, the battlefield remains as intense as ever. In what Ukrainian officials have described as the largest single drone attack of the war, Russia launched a staggering 267 drones in a coordinated overnight assault. Ukraine's air defenses managed to shoot down 138 of them, while electronic countermeasures neutralized another 119. However, the remaining drones struck key infrastructure targets across 13 regions, resulting in widespread destruction and at least 3 confirmed casualties. In Kyiv, the assault triggered air raid sirens for 6 consecutive hours. First Lady Olena Zelenska took to social media, describing the devastation. Hundreds of drones brought death and destruction. It was another night of explosions, burning houses and cars, and destroyed infrastructure. Another night when people prayed for their loved ones to survive. The scale of the attack signals Russia's determination to keep Ukraine under relentless pressure, even as diplomatic efforts attempt to pave a path toward resolution. A diplomatic crossroads. The third anniversary of the war has prompted a flurry of diplomatic activity. While the US and Russia recently held secret talks in Saudi Arabia, European leaders were noticeably absent from the discussions, leading to frustration in Kyiv and a hastily arranged emergency summit in Paris. Zelensky condemned Ukraine's exclusion from the talks, stating that Trump and other Western leaders were living in a disinformation space controlled by Moscow. This remark provoked another sharp response from Trump, who doubled down on his previous statement and reiterated his doubts about Ukraine's leadership. French President Emmanuel Macron is set to visit Washington in an effort to reaffirm European solidarity, while UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer will follow suit later in the week. Starmer has been a vocal supporter of Ukraine and promised to emphasize the importance of Ukraine's sovereignty in discussions with U.S. officials. Meanwhile, Pope Francis, currently hospitalized with a respiratory illness, issued a rare statement calling the third anniversary of the war a painful and shameful occasion for all of humanity. What happens next? With diplomatic tensions rising, battlefield conditions worsening, and NATO's role being questioned, the future of Ukraine remains uncertain. Zelensky's willingness to sacrifice his presidency in exchange for security underscores the dire situation his country faces. But will Western allies accept such a deal? Will NATO finally extend full membership to Ukraine? And what role will the U.S. play as political divisions continue to widen? As Ukraine enters its fourth year of war, the stakes have never been higher. The outcome of these diplomatic maneuvers could determine the fate of not just Ukraine, but the entire balance of global security. Stay with us for the latest developments, and don't forget to subscribe to stay informed on this evolving crisis.